Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rappin' Wrestling. Man, it is now WrestleMania. It is WrestleMania, and yesterday was night one. And before we get into it, of course, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Rappin' Wrestling. We are over 2,000 subscribers, so thank you to all of you who watch. Let's get into it. WrestleMania night one. So, night one, of course, started off with Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I will say that I was a person saying throughout the beginning of the storyline where I was like, all right, this needs some oomph, you know what I'm saying? Like, this needs the kind of the shot in the arm to kind of get this thing going, because Uso was getting his ass kicked every week for the most part. But it was nice to see both of them like be a little emotional. Like, you can see it in their entrances. Like, you can see when Gunther was coming out, it kind of looked like he was a little bit teary-eyed before coming out. Is that because it was his first WrestleMania or because he was losing? At least that's what I felt from it. At least, like, I saw him kind of get teary-eyed. I can kind of read energy like that, where he came out and I'm like, oh, he kind of looked like he's a little bit emotionally shook. Then, of course, Uso coming out through the crowd, of course, which, as he always does, which I thought was pretty dope, especially you coming through the arena, through the stadium this time with all those people. His entrance was pretty dope with the flags, and you can see it on his face too. Very serious. He was smart and conserved energy and didn't run to the to the ring. And like that match, of course, before the match even started, you can see he kind of just took a breather a little bit and took it all in and just sat there and started the match. So I love the fact that you know, even though they were still in character, they were still showing emotion like they were human too. So good job to both Gunther and Jey Uso for showing emotion in that, just to show that they're human a little bit. Hold on, let me do something here and turn this off right here, because that might be causing interaction. But great storytelling throughout the match as well. The story started off with Uther. The story started off with Uso attacking Gunther, being on the offensive, of course, starting to whoop that ass, getting in there and getting the offense in early, of course. And then it kind of slowed down, and Gunther got into some of them power moves, of course, slowed him down with some of them chops. You know what I'm saying? And you saw like the welts developing on Uso's chest too. Them chops was slowing his ass down. So I do think that they had a great match. It was, you know, it wasn't like a Shawn versus a Brett, but it was a great match for what the storyline had built up to be. It kind of reminded me of the match that they had on Monday Night Raw, which was a good match then as well too. So you put these two in the match, they do have a good chemistry, which is good to see also. And you saw that Gunther was using Uso was using Gunther's move and made him tap out. The finish was, I guess, Gunther tapping out to his own finisher in the sleeper, which I thought was pretty interesting as a finish. I thought maybe he would have ended it with the Uso splash. Now, granted, he did hit him with the Uso splash on 3 different corners, which was dope, because I thought he was going to do the 4th one, which he should have. But we'll talk about that later on in the video. But great match between these two. And I think that this match not only solidified Jey Uso in being main event Jey Uso and having the belt finally, but I think it shows that Gunther is up there too, as like with some of the top people in the company to work with as well. So congratulations to Jey Uso on his first championship, and good job Gunther for putting over Jey Uso and putting on a great match as well. Next is the War Raiders versus the New Day. This match was mid to me, man. My brother went to go smoke on this match. I'm not even bullshitting you. He definitely did, because we were FaceTiming throughout most of WrestleMania. But he went to go smoke on this match, and match was pretty mid. I don't think there were many. And I say mid because I'm not saying that these teams can't wrestle or anything like that. But to me, as a fan, because that's all I am as a fan. This is not being a critic. This is being a fan. WrestleMania and wrestling and pro wrestling in general is about moments, right? And I say it's mid because this was going to probably be the match that gets forgotten on this card. There weren't many moments in this match where I can be like, hey, remember that moment when Ivar, I can't even think of no moments, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's the whole point. It's like, that's why I call it mid. It's not to say that these teams can't wrestle and that they did a bad job. It's just that, to me, there weren't many or any moments really that I can really recall from this match. The New Day, of course, went over. They win. I'm not sure if that's due to or done for them to revive the tag team division, maybe. But to see them go over a new and up and coming tag team, which is very interesting. I'm not sure if maybe they're going to do something later with the War Raiders or put them in a different program. But the New Day, of course, they won yesterday, which makes, you know, The tag team division looks like, okay, they got heels at the top, so maybe this is to build them up and create some new tag teams and give them something to go toward. As the New Day are heels, maybe this is giving them that, you know, building to be ultimate heels to create baby faces for tag team division. Who knows? I'm not a booker for WWE. Like I said, I'm a fan. I am a fan. But I do think that match could have been better. And by better, I mean added more moments to where it is more memorable. But in the men's, in this tag team match, I also feel like this match could have been something that could have been on a Monday Night Raw. We already got this on Monday Night Raw, I believe we did, but this could have been on a Monday Night Raw. This match could have easily have been replaced with the TLC match that Nick Aldis just announced on SmackDown the other night, and I think that match would have created more moments for this match. Now, obviously, as I said before, I'm not a booker. I'm sure they have their reasoning as to why they did that, but as a fan looking in, this would have been, you know, a great replacement to have this match in there and create that energy for WrestleMania, and then we would have more moments. But congratulations to the New Day on becoming 13-time world champions. One time for them for, you know, hey, they leading down and holding down that tag team division for now, you know, so they can build maybe build more tag teams. Up next is we have Jade Cargill and Naomi. Now, those two went at it. And there were definitely some nip slips going on in there that I saw. One time for them wearing pasties, because if they were not wearing pasties, we would have saw them nipplies. But they had an amazing match. I believe that these two had an amazing match. You can see the chemistry that they have between each other on and off the screen. I think Jade Cargill did a great performance. This is her first time having a one-on-one singles match, and I also think that Naomi did had a great performance as well. Her putting over her friend Jade Cargill. This entire storyline it started off slow, like the who done it kind of storyline. Well, who did this and this, and then we found out that Naomi did it, like kind of how she did it for The Rock, or how Rikishi did it for The Rock. But I think that this storyline, it paid off. Like, it did what it was supposed to do. It did get its payoff in the end, where, you know, of course, Jade Cargill got her comeuppance at WrestleMania. Naomi, of course, she put her over, but Naomi still looked strong and looked great in the match and looked strong in the storyline as well. Naomi was able to develop her character. Like, she developed this new character that we saw from her that we didn't see before, this dark side of Naomi, and it's great to see that from her, because like I feel like that adds years on to her career if she wants to go a little bit longer. And then of course Jade Cargill, we already know she's going to be the force that she is in WWE, with her putting on the tremendous performance and being the athlete that she is. And then of course both women being as beautiful as they are. Great match, of course, a great match from both women. Like, I love the fact that they put on not only for the women's division but for the black women as well on WrestleMania. So shout out to them. I think they had a good match, man. Like, I really do. I really think that they had a good match. Like, it was nice. It over exceeded my expectations, for real. And I love the finish. After that, of course, we had Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. This was a match that I wanted to see personally on night one. And I think that between these two, like, these two had a great match. Like, they had a great match. And, like, I can tell there's a lot of chemistry there. Like, they probably hang out a lot behind the scenes type shit. And, like, it was great to see, like, Jacob Fatu get his first WrestleMania as soon as he did, and like you can kind of see how he was enjoying it a little bit and stuff like that too as he's coming down to the ring. I saw it in his eyes, he looking around and stuff like that, you know, and everything. So shout out to Jacob Fatu for getting his first WrestleMania. And then of course, there were also but they had a lot of time to get in good spots and that just kind of display that chemistry that I was talking about earlier. One thing I want to talk about is the BFT encounter that Jacob countered when he tried to go for the BFT and just stood there and looked at him and shit. Great counter to the BFT by Fatu. I think he's done that before, and I think I've called that a great counter as well, because it also adds in character with the counter, because like now he got LA Knight looking like, oh shit, he dodged that shit quick as hell, and he got Fatu looking strong too, because it's like, yeah, you gotta figure that out. So I love the BFT encounter by both Fatu in that as well. Excuse me, got something stuck in my throat here. I'm trying to get through this video. But what I also love is, along with the great wrestling in the match, there were very, very close calls to draw the crowd in. They had the crowd going, you know, had them going, like, getting involved in the match, of course, and had them emotionally invested. So I love the great calls as well. Of course, you honestly didn't know who was going to win. At one point, I'm like, all right, if LA Knights wins, cool. But if Fatu wins, cool. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But I think with the tremendous performance that LA Knight's been doing in the last couple of months and year alone, like he has the fans still behind him. Like, he still has the fans going LA Knight. Like, you heard it right there, 60,000 people sound like screaming LA Knight last night. I think Fatu now needs to get inserted into that title picture. Maybe he's the next opponent for Jey Uso. Who knows? That would be a great match between those two as well. Yeet versus Yeah. They kind of teased that before. So maybe that's what they got up next. But congratulations to Jacob Fatu on winning his first singles title in WWE. And as we all know, with the talent that he has, as long as he stays healthy and keeps doing what he's doing, he got plenty more to come. Next match, of course, we got there was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, but Rey Mysterio actually got injured on SmackDown on Friday, the day before, and he was not cleared to wrestle the day of WrestleMania. So instead, they inserted Rey Fénix instead of Rey Mysterio. And this match, actually, I want to talk about this for a quick second. Great spots, great moves, great chemistry. There was a beautiful springboard Northern Light suplex that took place in that match, and I've never seen that before. And I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, this is nice. And I love seeing that kind of wrestling where it's not just flippity flip stuff. It's good moves where it's smooth, and each talent is able to hit their moves smoothly to where it looks great on TV, and they're able to stay in the flow of things. So I love that. Match was very smooth, with Chad Gable / Americana Grande, of course, coming out on top. He did go over, but for them to have such short notice, and then still put on a great match for WrestleMania, imagine being Rey Fénix the day before, and you're just sitting there you just got signed to SmackDown a month ago, damn near, and you sitting there as a spectator, and Friday you're sitting there yeah, I'm just gonna sit there and chill and watch WrestleMania, and then you get that tap on the shoulder from H, hey, we need another Rey in the match, and because Mysterio is injured, so we need Fénix in it, and you got to go and talk to Chad Gable immediately and come up with a great match. I think they were able to do that, and I think they were able with such short notice put on a great match with the time that they had and the resources that they did. So shout out to not only Chad Gable and Rey Fénix, but shout out to WWE behind the scenes, the bookers, the creative team, the folks in production, all of that. Because to pivot that quick and put on a great match still for the fans and have something like that happen where Mysterio gets injured, that's shit you gotta think about where the machine keeps going. So shout out to WWE for that. I think they did a great job in pivoting on the Rey Fénix match with Chad Gable. And also, last thing I want to talk about on this match is, of course, is that reverse 540. Never seen no shit like that ever before. So whoever Chad Grande Americano Grande is, he's been studying his moves, and he definitely did some lucha research. So shout out to him. Let's see here. Next match I got, of course, is Tiffany Stratton, the champion, of course, versus Charlotte Flair. Now, of course, this build started off flat as hell. Then it got very, very personal, very, very quick. And it culminated all together last night at WrestleMania on night 1. Now, the match started off immediate brawl off top. They started going at it, tackle from Charlotte, and then they started brawling there in the middle of the ring. So I love how it started off. It was a great match to kind of start off the way it is. It's just that with these two, I don't think there's a lot of chemistry there. I don't think there's not too much chemistry with these two in the ring, and excuse me, I don't know if that's because Charlotte's been away so long on injury or being injured. I don't know if that's because they didn't have time to rehearse, or I don't know if that's because this was literally personal. They started taking personal shots with each other, so maybe they didn't have time to rehearse or whatever the case. But there wasn't much chemistry in the ring between these two, and there was a segment that I'll show you guys.
Figure 4 in the figure 8, roll up now by Stratton. Charlotte rolls through, trying to power Stratton up here.
And this made me think, did Charlotte sandbag Tiffany? And I say that because there were a couple spots in the match that didn't flow fluidly, and there was one that I think was on Tiffany's mistake, and there was that neck breaker, I think it was, where she pulled the hair and tried to swing around and shit. And then it almost feels like Charlotte was getting frustrated when she called her a bitch and shit, right there in front of the mic. And I was like, I don't know if that was supposed to be ad-libbed or not, but I could feel like Charlotte probably meant her words and that shit. But I did feel like she maybe she sandbagged her, and the match could have been more than what it was. But like I said, a couple of hiccups in this match. It wasn't bad, it's just that it could have been better. Tiffany, of course, came out on top, defeating Charlotte, and well, Congrats to Tiffany Stratton for winning at WrestleMania and having her first WrestleMania. And then, of course, lastly, in matches, of course, on the match card, we have the triple threat that took place, of course, between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Seth comes out with a flamethrower and burns it down and does what he does. There was great storytelling throughout this match, like great storytelling and the character throughout all three men. Of course, if you know the storytelling, have been watching CM Punk and Seth Rollins hating each other, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns hating each other, and CM Punk and Roman Reigns fighting over the wise man. Now, we're going to talk about that shortly, but I love how they use the triple threat dynamic in a different way. And by that, I mean, in this match, you saw like parts to where they were all attacking each other, where they started in the brawl and they went out into the crowd and everything like that. Roman came on the other end, jumped and got them into the crowd. Shout out to Roman Reigns as well. From once he jumped into the crowd, he immediately checked on his opponents to be sure they were good. If you know wrestling, then you saw him do that. It was a fight from beginning to end, like literally, like from the moment the match started, they kind of felt everything, and then, you know, Punk left the ring and they started going at it, you know, as in Rollins and Reigns, they started fighting each other. Punk gets involved, and then they just started kicking each other's ass, and it was nice to kind of see Punk like, all right, let them figure this out. He goes over there and hugs Paul Heyman, hey, gets in Roman's head a little bit, you know. The Shield table spot, of course, where Rollins is telling Roman, hey, we need to eliminate him. He's the outsider, trying to get in his head again, as we've seen this Shield table spot kind of whenever Roman and Rollins are in any kind of match together, where they're trying to powerbomb someone or set opponent through the table. Roman's not up with the bullshit, as he's been very, very keen of who to trust recently. And of course, he hits Rollins in the face while setting up for the powerbomb and ends up powerbombing Punk himself through the table. And then powerbombs Seth Rollins' bitch ass through the table too. So another part I want to talk about in this match is, of course, if you guys paid attention, there was that Austin and Brett spot, of course, with the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring with Punk like walking and crawling and shit like that. I love that spot because I paid homage to the Hall of Fame match with Brett and Austin. So I love that part as well. One time for Seth and Punk putting that spot together in the middle of the ring. And then I love the fact that in this match, of course, there were hella finishers and there was close call after close call after close call after close call. I really didn't know who was going to win. Like after Roman powerbombed Punk and Rollins through the table, I thought it was over after that. Like I thought it was a wrap. But obviously there was more to go. So great, of course, like I love the close calls, of course, getting everyone emotionally invested in that, because I didn't really know who was going to win, and because anyone could have won based on how this match went, you know what I'm saying? Like based on the storyline, based on how everything was flowing in the crowd, anyone could have won this match. One thing I also loved in this match as well is like I loved the chain wrestling finisher spot where they all hit each other's finishers in a matter of seconds away, and like it flowed like perfectly. Like great match, of course, and I think the crowd loved that too if you listen back too. So I love that spot of the match as well. And then the finish, of course, Paul fucking Heyman being who he is. You can't trust this motherfucker as far as you can throw him. And him, of course, sliding the chair into the ring, giving it to Punk, Roman being shocked, him getting in the ring, going over like, yeah, hit him, low blowing Punk, Roman laughing, Roman getting a chair, hitting CM Punk, Paul Heyman pointing, saying, look, Tribal Chief, is Rollins. Paul going in to help him, low-blowing Roman, siding with Seth Rollins. Like, god damn, what a fucking finish. Like, that was a 5-star main event for WrestleMania on night 1, and it was complete fucking cinema. Complete cinema. Like, what a great finish. Lots of emotions, because I'm like, damn, like, everybody turned on Roman, bro. Like, fuck, bro. Like, think about that. Like, he started with a bloodline of Jimmy, Jay, Sammy, Solo, Paul Heyman. All of them were all together, and himself, they were all together in the bloodline, and now it's just one. So, great main event by all competitors, of course, and congratulations to CM Punk for getting his first WrestleMania main event. Granted, he didn't win, but he did a great performance. He put on an amazing performance as well, and he put on, man, for having the first performance at WrestleMania for his main event, which I think is pretty more. There's many more to come for him, or a couple more, because his career is almost over, age-wise. And then quickly on the news, of course, and I'll get us out of here because we got to do night 2 tonight. In WWE news, of course, if you didn't know, WWE has recently acquired the AAA wrestling promotion down there in Mexico. They will be a part of WWE, and they are putting on an event, a PLE, I believe, in June sometime. I can't think of the actual dates, but they will be doing that. So shout out to WWE for doing that. And then also, lastly, what I want to talk about is, I feel like that crowd was low-key kind of mid in Vegas, bro. That crowd was like mid as hell. Y'all could have, y'all could be a little bit more hyped for the shit that y'all saw. Y'all could be a little more appreciative, a little bit more loud. Because that wouldn't have happened in Detroit. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you later.